So what's going on, guys? Got another video for you today, doing a restoration guide on a Sega Saturn that I got at Too Many Games. I actually filmed the footage well after Too Many Games, so I'm filming this part after that. But hope you enjoy that, and if you want a nice crispy looking system, follow this nice restoration guide and you can do just that. So here's the part where I'm going to show you all the supplies you're going to want to have to restore a Sega Saturn or any console that you want to restore. So the first thing you're going to notice, got some Windex. This is Giant brand Windex. All Windex is the same basic thing. You're going to want some of that. Doesn't really matter the brand. Next thing that you're going to need from a grocery store, a magic eraser, and you don't need this entire thing. That's kind of a waste. So you can get these in 2-packs for like $4 or $5. And what I do, probably clean the entire system with just this little tiny piece. So that'll give you roughly 4 consoles out of that, so you can pretty much clean 8 consoles with a box of 2. So that's pretty good, I would say. Then you got to get a variety of screwdrivers, different sizes, bigger, medium, and a little tiny guy. And just in case something doesn't want to cooperate, I have 2 little poker and prodder things. Basically, they're just flatheads I ground down on a grinder wheel, just to help pry things out. You got to be gentle with it though. And to go along with the Windex, some Q-tips. Thing that I forgot to mention that you're going to need paper towels, but more than likely you have that and probably Windex in your house already. Alright, so first thing that's going to be easiest to get off on a console is the price tag. So we got $64.99. This is from Too Many Games. Alright, so first what I like to do, you're going to want to go ahead and get this damp, not wet, not drenched. I mean, if I squeeze this, nothing's really going to come out, but it is moist to the touch. So what I like to do first is just give it a little Windex on top. Try not to get it on the actual components. This will get rid of any just loose stuff that's actually on the console dust-wise. And just kind of really get in there. Put teeny amounts on. And just work your way around the console. I can already tell that this one kind of smells like cigarettes. So that's something that you can get rid of, and I've done it before. And the way you do that is you mix baking soda and vinegar with a mixture, and you kind of just coat the whole plastic. You let it sit for a while, and then I don't know how it works, but it just absorbs the smell. And it's got to be apple cider vinegar to be more specific, and it somehow absorbs the smell into it. I don't know how it works, but it does work. One thing to be careful with when you're cleaning some systems, I try not to get Windex on the actual labels just because Windex is ammonia, so you can cause some of these labels to come off. Fortunately enough, I think these ones are okay. Now, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see these scratches in here, but they're pretty in there. There's another little one right there. There's some right near the Sega logo. Let me see. There's a few just around it in random places. There's some scuff marks on the sides. Just stuff that makes the system look a little unattractive, right? And the front actually looks pretty good. So you got a few little ones right here. And, oh no, there's a nice, actually, that's part of the console. I thought it was a crack. There's a good one right there. That's actually a chip, I think. No, it's gunk. Back looks good. And this actually had a new battery in it, so that's kind of nice. One other thing that I did also forget. Keep forgetting stuff, but if you're into gaming, you probably already have canned air as well. And just to have saved time, I already pre-opened this. So, let's see here. This actually looks pretty clean inside. I didn't open this until now. So the power button stays there. This is actually really clean on the inside. So they must have opened it to dust it out, so this doesn't really need a good dusting. Oh, actually, there's a little bit, there's another pubic hair in there. Man, I keep getting this on my stuff. Yeah, but there's no real visible dust in here, so that's nice. So yeah, what you're going to want to do next, just get a little bit of Windex on a Q-tip. not a ton. And just kind of lightly go around, get all this dust out. You want to be very careful on what you put the Q-tips on, though. You don't ever want to put these on. You don't ever want to put Windex onto the circuit board. You could put a plain Q-tip on anything, and it's not going to mess it up. But you don't want to put the Windex onto the circuit board, because that will more than likely fry something. I'm a little disappointed that I didn't realize this smelled like cigarettes when I bought it, though. But to be fair, I was in a gigantic convention hall, so. Yep. So yeah, that's pretty disgusting. That's just from like 2 minutes worth of wiping. And yeah, but other than that, I'd say this system's pretty clean, to be honest. So I'm gonna go ahead and blow this out with some canned air real quick. Ooh, there goes the straw. Watch there be some dust bunnies under here. Nope. Alright, so this is probably not the greatest example on cleaning the inside because it wasn't really that dirty. But one other thing I like to do with CD-based systems is get a teeny bit of Windex onto a Q-tip, and I mean a teeny bit. You are able to wipe this down with a teeny bit of Windex and it will not mess it up. You have my word on that. I've done it to every single one of my systems and it never messes them up. Alright, so laser's clean. Go ahead and dry that off a little bit more just to be safe. Alright. Okay. Now, the part that you guys more than likely actually came to see from this video. So the part that you probably came here to see was actually getting rid of all these blemishes on the system, which I think is actually doable on this, so we'll see how this comes out. And if you do graze over top of these, it's not that big of a deal, but don't rub hard on them, because that's something that will ruin the logo. These magic erasers, they do a really good job of cleaning these systems up. They do leave it feeling very strange after you're done cleaning it, though, like it's real dry. You can already see that it's starting to get off a lot of dirt and cigarette smoke, I can only assume. The sides of Saturns are always really destroyed for some reason. I've never been able to figure that one out. But yeah, that thing's definitely taken out some serious dirt. All right, and then also doing it on a towel lets you do things like this and just dry it off real easily. Alright, so that's looking a little bit better. The actual plastic all looks pretty good now. This is still a little scratchy here. I don't know if that's going to be able to come out, but we'll keep rubbing and see what happens. This is like glossy plastic, so it might be a little bit harder to get out of that. And if this doesn't work, then I will try one other treatment on it. Alright, that actually came out a little bit. Alright, so I remember there was a pretty good scratch here. So you can faintly see it now, but it is actually, it's pretty gone. As well as there was one there. I need to get that off. I can probably get that off. These corners were a little bit rough on each side, but now they look pretty good. The front was pretty good. Alright, so let's try to get this little corner off. And sure enough, she gone. Alright, so the sides of the unit are a little bit gross. There's a little mark there as well. A little bit there. Bottom's pretty clean, but you're not really going to see that, so I don't really care about that too much. There's that gunky spot. So we can try to get some of this out. Don't touch the lens while you're doing this. Alright, so as you can see, that one is getting better. Keep rubbing that a little bit more. Let's put a little bit of Windex on it, see if that helps it come out. Oh, it sounds like nails on a chalkboard when you're up close. Alright. Thinking it came out that time. And sure enough, well, actually, no, it's still kind of there. Alright, pause. I'm going to go get this wet again. Alright, back. Alright, so I would recommend letting it dry for a little while just in case, to prevent, you know, anything bad happening to your console. Alright, so one other thing that you can do would be to actually fully take the system apart and let them just soak in some water with some vinegar and stuff. I do that occasionally, but this system honestly wasn't terrible. I still see a few little nicks on it that I want to get off, but let me try to get some of these off still. This is definitely looking better already, though, that's for sure. You just kind of have to put some elbow grease into it if you want your consoles to look good. You really do. Hopefully this Saturn won't break on me for a long time, so be keeping this one for a while. Alright, so that's looking better. Let me get the final piece that we need to make it really just stand out and be that good. Oh, I forgot one thing. This is the final step. You want to get some Old English. This will help with the stink of a cigarette-y smelling console, and it'll just give it a nice little scent. But what it really does is it gives it a nice shine and a protective coating to help get the dust off your console and keep it off. So what you're going to want to do, I usually just spray it on there, kind of dab it around, get a couple more paper towels, and just really get up in there. This is going to make it look as it did way back in the day if you had one when you were younger. Or, you know, back when they were still new. Might not have been young then. All those sharp edges are ripping these paper towels up. Alright, so don't really need to hit the inside unless you really feel like you want to. I'm not going to, but just checking that. So for the first couple days it's going to be really sticky to touch, but after a couple of days it'll be back to normal. Once you get it set up in your home theater, I would rub it down again with another paper towel just to get your fingerprints off of it. But after 3 or 4 days you should be able to touch it like normal again and not get fingerprints on it. But yeah, that's the finished product. I don't know how well that's going to show up on camera, but all the blemishes are gone now, and it's got a nice shine to it again. The only thing that's still there is that. You might be able to find one of these on eBay, which I might try to look to see if you can, just to get a better one, but it's not that terrible. It's not going to bother me that much. But let's see. I might actually hit the sides of these two with some Old English here, just because you will see the sides of the console still. And the other side. No real need to get the back of it. I don't know if that's just me being lazy or just because no one will ever see it, but no real need to unless you feel like you want to. Alright, so there's that. And then one other step that I always try to do but usually forget, but I did remember this time, kind of spray out the controller ports too. And the AV cables, doesn't hurt. Alright. What was that? Pop the spring off there for a second. Alright, so let's go ahead and that does not seem to want to go back on. What in the hell's going on here? Oh wow, looks like somebody already rigged this up so they could play used or burnt games on it. Kind of wish I would have known that, but whatever. A little Old English inside, not on the laser though. And for shits and giggles, we'll give it one more little coat. Alright, let's see if we can get some of that Old English out of that crack. Kind of just rub your nail in there with the paper towel. There's a little bit down there in this CD tray. And like I said, this will work with any console that you want it to. Just, this has happened to be the most recent used console I had bought, so I figured I would do a video on it, just to demonstrate how I keep mine all nice and shiny. And once you've done the full inside cleaning, you're probably not really going to need to do that for a good another decade. But you're going to want to recoat it with some Old English every 6 to 8 months. That's usually when I do. I'll just do all the systems at one time. I usually use a microfiber once I'm actually done just to recoat them. But I would say she came out pretty good overall. I'm pretty impressed by it. Definitely looks a lot better in my opinion. You won't really notice the shine until you actually do it, but it does definitely look a little bit better in person. But yeah, I'd say she looks pretty good. So that's how you restore a Sega Saturn and or any console if you want to use these methods. And I was going to go ahead and take apart the controller and do it, but this screw right here is being a pain in the ass and will not come apart. So I guess I'm just going to have to do this the old-fashioned way and not be able to take it apart to restore it. So you can already do that with some Windex, so you don't need a restoration guide on that. But that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed that. Peace out for now, guys. Till next time.
Come here, you mother...